Namaste. Aloha. What a day. What a life. What a year. What a moment. And where are you? Where are you? I'm noticing myself. Observing myself. Feeling movement within me. Where am I? Who am I? When you finally start to question yourself, the big questions, you realize that there's no answer find outside. And even if we can break it down that there is no outside, I guess you know what I'm pointing to. And with I mean there is something within you that totally understands what I'm talking about. There might also be parts that are being like, well, I don't have time for this shit, like this holistic, spiritual kind of like shit chatting. And yeah, here we go. Maybe this is not for you then. Or maybe this is for you. Who knows? You only know. Only you know. Nobody else knows. I don't know what you need. And at the same time, I know. So there's nothing to find outside. Well, I would say that's not entirely true. It's just like we assume, or it's like continuing to happen that what we see outside and what we like, the feeling that we get from something, we start to judge because we're taking it personally. We're making it always to our personal experience. What I mean by that is, I drink coffee, and what the coffee does to me, that's my relationship to the coffee. So either way, like, I'm like coffee, and I'm getting from the coffee what I can, like, what is a good use for like my perception of seeing the world and my life where I'm in and like how I move. So I see the coffee as something good for me. So a good energy, a good medicine to take. So my relationship is good to coffee. So now it's a little bit tricky because there's like a bunch of people and science and whatever who's saying like, don't drink too much coffee. Coffee is like doing this and this to your system. It's not healthy to drink too much coffee, blah, blah, blah. So now your experience is being questioned because other people's experience is different than yours. or maybe it's similar, but they just went further into. So they're not just being like, oh yeah, coffee. Like coffee is my thing. Like soccer is my thing. Playing tennis is my thing. Reading beautiful poems is my thing. Being in childcare is my thing. And hey, not that it isn't, and not that there's a right or wrong, but I want to bring awareness to it. Because we were talking about like to find outside who I am, or where, like, what is life about, and where can I find freedom, where can I find happiness, bliss, where can I find connection. So, and that's what we're talking about. So coffee gives you something that somehow resonates at this moment with your system. So, but here is a really, really, really important thing. Everything that appears in our awareness, the voice that you right now listening to, the voice that you're hearing, like here now, and the voice that you're hearing in your head, that's what you're seeing through your eyes. That's all how you experience the world. So now you extend it. So yeah, like we assume that's my body and that's your body. So my experience relates to my body. And in a way, it's true. Like there's individual personal experience, because there is the full kind of like creation of individuals with a personal kind of like exploration of the world. But again, let's go a step back. You are witnessing yourself in that, the same way you were witnessing someone else. And that's when you realize also the funny thing when it comes to a deep connection with someone, and it can be on all levels. It can be a lover, it can be a friend, it can be like a family member, it can be a stranger, a kid, an animal. When you feel like such union, when you don't like, when you feel like almost like, well, like for a slight like peak moment, I felt like we were one. I was one with the tree. I was one with my lover during lovemaking. I was one with the whole universe. And then you can go back. Then you can also again feel yourself and realize, oh, like, even if I know like I experience this oneness, I also can experience again like this individual being that sits here on the ground, that's like talking into this phone. And it's, again, I'm all witnessing that. I'm just witnessing it all. So, and here's this thing, this really important thing. It doesn't matter if it's like the energy, the medicine from the outside, or kind of what you present. It was never, it was never meant to become you. Let me clarify, because I kind of like mix it a little bit. So you being fascinated by, you can see right now, by this beautiful tree. Uh, so, and if I spend long enough, and we have such strong minds, like we're living in a world where we can identify as everything. So, and we always could. We're just right now bringing it to an extent where it's even mentally, as so like it's mentally moves into the structure of society. So it becomes like an interesting like of like I always see it as like a swing, you know, and it's like one time we were like swinging to the extreme on the one side and one time on the other side till somehow it finds its balance again. So here's the thing. Let me clarify again. Outside, I'm not meant to become the tree, but the tree can be medicine, can be a catalyst, as somebody would say, for me to awaken, for me to remember that I'm not just my emotions, my thoughts, my feelings, that I'm so much more, and that I'm an individual in the same time that I'm like a part of the universe and the whole universe. It depends always how deep we want to look at the thing. You know, we can see like the layer and it's all true. You know, how can I deny that I'm not a physical body? We can now say like, you are not a physical body, you have a physical body. Yeah, I can agree on that. You know, I'm not the whole universe. I have an experience of a universe. We can also see it in this way. And then we can also become the universe. We become the body for a moment. And that's where I start to move, you know, where I'm like, become the universe, become the creative, become the physical body, like jumping around, like doing push-ups, like see my muscles grow, see my like brain develop, see a little child growing. It's like incredible. From this like newborn, like barely can like open his or her eyes, up to this, where it's like I'm talking and I'm like putting knots together. I'm like being able to like experience myself on a mental level that is so profound. And we're like right now like the creatures that like this part is the most developed. I mean, from our perspective. That's always like kind of like perspectival. But yeah, like so you're not the medicine. The medicine was never presented to you so that you can become the medicine. So you're not becoming the coffee. And you realize that when you stop drinking coffee. Because somehow then your system has to like fill this by itself. Like it needs a different now energy exchange with the whole universe. There's like a kind of like a stagnant, a blockage, or not even, maybe it's just like, you know, there's just space that wants to be filled. And most likely it's being filled with stuff that comes up because we are using the medicine not in a wise way. I'm drinking coffee because I'm like need to function. I'm drinking beer in an excessive way to get away from stress. And I have been there. I like, for me, sharing this, it's like I'm not sharing some like ancient teachings, or I'm like sharing from a perspective of experience. I knew exactly. I was the one who, like, who was always the latest at the party. I was like always being like the one that, like, huge celebration, and like I always was like, I'm going to drive tonight. I would say like in 95% I couldn't drive home because I was drunk. So my car always like being left at the party. But what I'm pointing to is now, or like I experienced while I'm started to start to walk on a different path. And with different paths, I just mean I opened, like, it seems for a level of consciousness, it seems like a different path. But actually, we are all the time on the same path. So in this case, what I'm saying is I not really like choose the different paths, even if it might look like, okay, he's like going a different way than he was on before. But yeah, you can look at it like this, and you can also look at it like I expanded consciousness. So I kind of like developed my capacities to witness. And most likely through, you can name it spiritual practices, you can name it to, like, while I was connecting to myself, so to the heart. And what I mean by that is paying attention to what is alive, and listening and act from this point. So making decisions from this point. So at some point in my life, the aliveness of something that was like triggering me so much and brought my whole system in an imbalance, like physical pain, like mentally completely down, emotionally a wreck. That was a moment when it was so loud that I couldn't deny it anymore. And we all experience that. The most people of us experience that, that pain leads us to a point where we can't go any further. I think it's Alan Watts who said, like, like depression, if you take this in, depression is, I try to use his words, depression is your body says, fuck you, I don't want to play this role anymore. And when I heard it the first time, I resonated so deeply with it. I resonated so deeply with it where it's like, fuck yes. Like depression, deep rest, deep rest. I mean, society is funny, like this, like mental concepts. We like name something in the way that, yeah, you can decode the mental domain so much. And we see it in ancient traditions, like numerology, astrology. So like you can decode the mental domain. You will never really decode, like it's just all this is also just pointers, just support systems that are leading to realization. So the invitation I got when I started to like expand my consciousness, like I just opened to expansion of consciousness. It's not mine, not yours. It's just like there, like we all have the capacity. We all have the capacity to enlightenment. And that might seem like abstract. And yeah, there is like philosophies and experience over lifetimes where you see already in a young boy, in a young girl, you 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 like you see such a maturity, a wisdom in this human being. And you would say like, oh, like maybe this human more likely has a chance to reach enlightenment in this lifetime than me, who is like still doing the same habits, and I'm like already 40, 50, 60 and I'm still not like know how to get out of it, and it's all fine. It's all good, even if it seems like so painful. But when you start to take little steps towards your heart, life is like creation is giving you 10 times more. And also this, I'm talking from experience. And I become slower in my voice. I become even more soft because it's so dear to me. And it's something so sacred and holy when you understand that through giving, you are receiving. And that is a moment where I realize I'm here to serve on this planet, on this earth, in this universe. The mental construct of Stefan is here to serve. And that gave me, and that gives me again and again these moments of this moments of realization, this beautiful experience of no matter what's going on in the outside, if it's a coffee, if it's a soccer game, or a whole nation that is celebrating a soccer team in a tournament, it's all medicine for me to realize what I already know, that this is within as it is outside, that it's not belonging to me or not belonging to you or to anyone, that it's a frequency. Why are we saying, oh, like, you are my vibe? Vibration. We are vibrating on the same frequency. That's why we are fucking getting along with each other. And to realize that if somebody is like on a different vibration, if I have fear that this person takes away my experience, my vibration experience, then I start to disconnect. But I will not only disconnect in this moment from this person and think like, no, I'm staying in peace and I'm staying on my happy vibe. I'm also disconnecting from myself, from from the wholeness of what is alive. Because I'm not just happiness. Because I am not happiness. And at the same time, I am happiness. But it's just a vibration. It's a frequency. So the reaction that I have towards a person that is, in my perception, not nourishing me, not vibing on the same like vibration, on the frequency than me, so I can't deal with this person. In this moment, I deny unity with creation, with everything. In this moment, I disconnect. And why? Because you start to react. You react to an energy outside. It's again, you become the coffee. And if you don't want to become the coffee, you don't like the coffee. So you don't drink it anymore. Nothing wrong with it. Here I say, you don't have to deal. You don't have to spend time with this human being that you think is not healthy for you, because it always is mean to you, always angry, always like puts you in a negative state. But here's the thing. It's probably healthy a lot of times to not, not let yourself be down, like pulling down by it. But the invitation that this person gives you is basically to see something within you that is being triggered by it. Maybe you experienced the same anger, the same frustration that this person feels right now. Maybe in a different way, maybe different story, and maybe you on a personal level you'd be like, no, not at all. I'm not like this person. Yeah, maybe not, but there is something that this person sends out, is the vibrating on, that creates something within you that there's it's not flowing. Something that you don't like. So either way, want to push it away, you want to confront it, or you just freeze. So confrontation, running away, or freeze. We all know that from psychology, how we respond to trauma, or in general to life sometimes. It's that simple, but in this moment it's that real. So by practicing awareness, by expanding your consciousness to become more and more the observer of Stefan, I'm becoming less and less identified with Stefan and with everything around me, So I'm simply recognize the anger, and I can choose in this moment. I can choose to say well, this is too much for me at the moment. I don't know, maybe I have spent the whole day on the computer and all I want to do is coming home and have a moment of rest, or going to going to move my body, so I'm bringing my system into balance. Because the medicine, the computer, or work, or whatever it is, the medicine that I took over a like serious amount of time during the day maybe not balanced you at the end of the day, you know? But this is a different topic of like, okay, like your work should make you like give you energy, you know? Because if it gives you energy, you also know you are giving yourself to the work. You're serving something higher. There's a meaning in what you're doing. So, and if there's a meaning, you like gift yourself into work. And we all know how that feels. We all know when we are like stepping into, we call it flow or whatever of life, you know, of life, of life, whatever you call it, then we know how it feels. So if you come home and then you kind of like need to balance because work is not yet that aligned, and that's all totally fine. Sometimes serving not always means like you get the same amount of energy or even more back, you know, because there's also, you can call it karma, or you can call it, you know, like tendencies, or like there's different philosophies around that, you know, why we experience what we experience here on earth through this body, through this mental concept of Stefan in this family, in this country, and, you know, like with these decisions. But at the end, it comes down to you again, as more often you can rest in the awareness of it all, as more you can witness what is happening and from this place take action. So I'm coming home from work, I witness like this, my partner or family member or what it is, like really angry, and I feel like it affects me right now because like I'm kind of have like, here's the thing, I don't now make examples because I just say, because this person in this moment like has an impact of something that is alive within you. If you would be in balance, if you would be the witness, what is basically, you know, like there's like, I would say like two different layers of balance. You can see balance in like energetic way of like, I don't know, like elemental. So like I can balance Earth's gravity with like, you know, like with wind, or fire with water, or like something like this. I can balance things, you know? So I can balance food. I can eat something spicy, and then I can eat something like earthy to like ground myself. Or like, hey, like I can like be really airy. That's a better example. I can be really airy, whatever reason. Like I ate like a lot of like airy food, or did like airy sports, and what is a tendency for us afterwards? We like balance it in form of like eating. So we'll always say like, yeah, like I kind of like was running so much, and now like I'm really hungry. I'm really hungry. And you wouldn't be happy with a salad, you know? I mean, I'm also now like a little bit just making an example. Take your own example into it. You know what I'm talking about. But at the end, it comes down that, you know, like there's two layers of balance. The one where you try to fix, or you try to balance in terms of energy. So I use this to balance whatever. And, you know, like I'm trying to unite with something outside, put it inside. And I'm tired, I drink coffee. Here we go again. And then there's a different layer of balance where it's you become the witness. You becoming aware of the experience. And in this moment, there's an automatic balance happening. Because the emotion not always needs, like we always say, like, express your emotions. It's so important to express anger, to express, but yes, the emotion is really important because it's the medicine that rises through you to point to something that is not aligned with you being the witness and moving towards awakening, towards the heart. So it becomes louder and louder and louder and louder because you're pushing it away, or you're running away, or you're confronting it. In the moment, you're witnessing it and you're allowing it. This energetic movement is able to flow again. So let's take anger. You're so angry now, you become this anger. So you come home, this person, your lover, is there and super angry, and what does it makes, like, what do? You take it personally. You be like, oh, like, like you go into anger as well. So you basically, boop, you just jump on his frequency that he is on. He's just like inviting you to explore anger in your personal way, And that's it. You become the anger now. So now you becoming the medicine of anger that is actually wants to show you something that is somehow not aligned. And most of the times, or like, I would say, like, it's somehow like the rising. I'm not getting too much into like the energetical movements or into like philosophies, but like in the lower energy centers, we have the most kind of like blockages, or you can call it imbalances, or maybe imbalances is for now the best way to call it from what we are talking about. So there's imbalances in your energy centers, so the energy can rise, and when the energy can rise, your consciousness can't rise. So you are like adapting because you somehow haven't figured out how to use this energy. And with using, I mean like how to witness it, to become like non-reactive and become like, let it become a catalyst to awakening you. So this anger shows something within you that is so alive. Otherwise you wouldn't like jump on this train. If you would have felt the anger that you feel, if you would have felt what story comes with it, and you would start to open a perspective towards that and moving through it, you wouldn't be affected by it. You would have compassion. If you love this person, if you love this human being, if you have already experienced moments of unity with this person, this human being, it's only your own suffering, your like own anger that you adapt on. And he's just inviting you. But in the moment you become the witness and you see it, you are the strong pole, earth, heaven, you are this strong, like vertical. So like we experience everything horizontal here in this physical domain, and like spiritual we become like vertical, and we are rooted down deep and connected high. So in this moment we rise the energy, so our consciousness rising, and we witness the anger. And this is a praxis. It's a praxis itself. And why are there so many practices about becoming aware? You know, moving mindfully through the forest, listen to the voices, listen to the leaves. It's all pointing to the same. You're becoming aware of creation. And the same way you are like start to listening to the trees, to the animals, to other people in a profound way, you start to develop also to listen to yourself and what's going on there. We all experienced a person, or even with ourselves, we were so angry, so frustrated, and then somehow somebody were giving us a space, like there was, he like offered a frequency to explore this anger. So we had the chance to be seen, to not being made wrong or right within our experience, and being invited to become the witness of this anger. And quite often I experienced it so often myself or with others. What lays under anger, there's a movement of sadness coming. People are starting to cry. And it's all just, like physical way, a manifested way of energy being moved again. So please cry it out, consciously. Not getting like into the story. It's like the same as anger. You can experience anger, you can witness anger in a healthy way, in a witnessing way, and then you can experience sadness, tears running in a witnessing way, or in both ways you can distract, like getting lost in the story. That's when I like start to punch something, and like I feel it hurts like for days and weeks, and I realized it was such a bad idea, but the charge was so crazy that I had to like let it go in this way, or like you are like so sad, you're like so frustrated, and you like crying, and like you're going so much into the story, and you be like, you're so mean, and like you really like crying, but not consciously. You like in both ways you become the emotion. Sometimes it's also important, especially beautiful, if there, like if somebody is there to hold space for you, or you create the space for yourself. If you're being like, okay, like I don't know, like you can make a weekly meeting where you be like, okay, like, and it's great if you can do it, because you already know if you can do it, then you already know that you like be able to witness yourself while you're in the experience. If you can say like, oh, like once a week I'm like putting music on and like start to like emotional release myself, like you will more and more become aware of this energy that is alive within you. Not saying that this will actually like bring a higher state of consciousness in the first place. But sometimes it's like you're so kind of like stuck in something. So it's a gateway, a practice to slowly start to bring awareness to it. So like slowly become the witness. And then it's beautiful because then you actually don't need the medicine anymore. So you don't need the coffee anymore. You don't need to punch a pillow anymore. You don't need to scream to your, like to your sister, to your lover, because you start to realize that it's all within you and there's nothing wrong about anybody else. It's all within you. And as more you practice connecting with the self, with the witness, then the more you open and expand your consciousness and rise. You're more rising. You awaken. And we all know how that feels to awake. It's like, it's amazing. We all have like little peaks every time. So let's just take a moment to practice. So I invite you to sit up straight. You just can sit in a cross-legged seat or kneeling or sitting on a chair, whatever feels most comfortable and available for you. And then I want to invite you to straighten your upper body. So you straighten your spine up. Your head is aligned and continues like with the straightness of the spine. It's like you become a verticality in your physical and your manifested creation, being. And you also open horizontally to whatever experience might be available today, might want to rise in our consciousness. Whatever emotion, whatever thoughts want to come. So you can roll your shoulders up and back, and then I invite you to close your eyes. And just start to realize, just bring awareness once to the change that just came by closing the eyes, by straightening the spine, the upper body. I invite you to breathe a little bit deeper into your belly through your nose. You just can witness how the breath is flowing, how your belly is expanding. And with every breath that is flowing through your body, you can bring awareness to your entire body. You can scan your body where it's still kind of like you're holding tension. And with the breath, directing it into this part where you feel there's still a little bit of tension. You direct your breath there to invite this part to relax. It's not you controlling, you're not relaxing this part, you're inviting this part by being conscious, being the witness. And there might be thoughts, feelings, or sensations rising within your consciousness. And also just witness them. You may say like, okay, interesting. I'm feeling like angry now or frustrated because it doesn't work how how I do it or how I want it to be. And there are thoughts that I'm not good enough, I'm not, meditation is not for me, this is not for me, life is not for me. And like your thoughts, your feelings, they go crazy if you feed them with like agreeing and with reaction. So in this case, again, remember to become the witness. Seeing a sensation in your body rising. Seeing an emotion rising. But don't feed it with your reaction. You can send the breath to it, and like with thoughts and emotions that don't have a physical sensation in your body, you can bring it into your heart. You can visualize how you breathe the emotion of anger into your heart. And as this anger did rise from stillness, so you can let it return to stillness. Remember to breathe deeply to your belly, relax your physical body. Witnessing the breath flowing through your system. The breath is our anchor. We can always come back to our breath to start to witness what is alive within us, outside, in creation. And slowly start to bring awareness more and more to our physical body, recognizing that we have a physical body. We can even start to, move the fingers, the body, and while we're remaining as this witness, can slowly start to open the eyes, gazing to the ground, not in particular focusing on something. You can just look into space. Can witness colors, creatures, and then you slowly rise and you can look around and witness all of creation around you. That is the same creation you just experienced while your eyes were closed inside of you. You are beautiful. I love you, and you are blessed.